And welcome back to another wonderful episode of Garage Media Junkies. My name is Chris Espinoza, and right on my left is the ever wonderful Hugo Mesa. This is, oh my God, what a wonderful comeback, but this is episode, what, 78?
Dangerously going to the 100 zone.
Oh, it's so real. What is that? So what are we at? Like, we need 22 more episodes.
So probably before the year's over, we're gonna make it.
Because Game of Thrones is going to happen. It's coming.
Right,
and
we're
those
gonna
are
have few. Yeah, those are the fillers. It helps to not to think about topics. But today we have a cool one. If you're not aware, Netflix is throwing like everywhere content, like so much stuff in that platform.
Yeah.
You know, to be fair, it's 50-50. Like 50% kind of shitty, and then the other is kind of good. But you know, still they're making an effort to produce stuff.
They are, which again is credit to them because it's not easy.
Oh no,
it's really not easy to continue to make that content.
And even if it's a shitty, and when we say shitty, it's either story-wise or like, you know, kind of half-baked ideas that never, you know, you can tell they're trying to grab as much stuff they can because obviously their deal with Disney is going away.
Oh, yeah.
And they're in a rush to create content.
I feel like they are definitely scrambling right now to push out as much original content as possible because I think what they're starting to realize is that everybody wants a slice of this pie now.
And Fox is now officially Disney.
Yes.
Fuck you, Disney.
No,
Monopoly.
No, everybody agreed across the world that it's...
This video is going to disappear from YouTube magically. But, yeah, it's just crazy.
Thanks, Disney. No, so I wonder... I don't know if they've already said this, but I wonder if all of Fox's stuff then will disappear. I don't think it will.
No, they just have the rights.
Yeah.
And obviously, Disney, they're going to bring it to their own platform.
Right, so will they take it away from Netflix is what I'm asking.
I mean, they have contracts, so as soon as that contract is done, it's like, let's see how Disney played the card. He can also can't be that rich boy that like, oh, I don't play with you. I don't think that's smart.
Right, and I think what Disney Plus wants to be is like strictly Disney content.
Yeah.
Not its affiliate brands or, you know, like Fox's brands of stuff. Like, they're going to keep that all separate.
Yeah, it will be dumb if they just isolate those IPs.
Yeah, I 100% agree.
Well, but before we start jumping on this, you can find the Garage Media Junkies Instagram, with Garage Media Junkies. Really
How
simple.
Convenient.
Yeah, it's not that hard. Obviously, if you're watching this on YouTube, well, welcome to the YouTube channel. But if you're not and you want to see our, for some reason, our faces, you can go to YouTube. There's interesting because I've been reading their studies that people actually ask more podcasts to like, we want to see a video format of it. And like, I don't know.
I mean, I guess I enjoy a video format sometimes on certain podcasts, but other times it's just nice to just hear sultry voices coming through the speakers.
Let us know what's the whole deal. Like, maybe it's because in YouTube and they don't want to go to other platforms and they just let it run.
Just run and play, yeah.
They don't even see the whole thing. Sometimes do that.
Yeah, I do it too. I've got my few that I listen to that I'll run, and then sometimes I'll just have it like through YouTube just because I was already on the YouTube app. I don't want to launch my podcast app.
Yeah. You can find me on Instagram, Hugo Mesa Soto. There's not a lot of Garage Media Junkie. Well, some. But mostly it's my photography and some of the stuff that I do. You can go there. Don't worry, you're not going to see my face. So
Oh, my God.
Don't worry about that. And Chris.
And you can't find me anywhere. I mean, you can find me on Xbox, but I mean, I have zero social media presence. So
there you go. Yeah, he's trying to be like the hard guy to reach just because he had the sexiness factor.
Gotta keep the mystery alive.
What an asshole.
That's
By the way, shout outs to your buddy that started already making memes.
I know, yeah. Shout out to Mondo. I mean, I got a few memes from him today about,
we should start posting it on the Instagram.
I wouldn't. I think the one that made me laugh the hardest, like he like captioned it, and it was like the, you know, just break my heart. An exact quote from him, which was from me, was break my heart into a million pieces and let me sob.
There you go.
So thank you, Game of Thrones. Let me sob.
So, anyways, before we start jumping on our main topic, which is the series, the new Netflix series, kind of was like an anthology of short films.
Yeah.
Animated. Everything is animated.
Mm-hmm.
Called Love, Death, and Robots.
Love, Death, Robots.
Kind of come out of the blue. I mean, I never see the initial trailer. I think they have a trailer a couple months ago, but
if they did, it
Yeah,
flew under the radar completely. Cause
then just they deliver and like, whoa, this is great.
well, I mean, I think when you initially give a trailer, I mean, the concept of it all is like, hey, here's a bunch of stuff that, you know, doesn't make sense and visually means nothing on paper.
Right.
To me, like, even if somebody was like, here, watch this trailer for this anthology of series,
Right.
I would have just like been like, who makes it? Nobody? I don't know. I don't have time for this. But when I logged on to Netflix about 2 weeks ago, and it was the first thing up, and watching all of those visuals splash against my big screen,
it's a lot of visually stimulated. A lot of stimulation, those trailers.
Now, this has zero connectivity, at least to my knowledge. Like, none of the stories connected anyway. It's all just
on a bigger, large chord. Sort of, they have the topics. I mean, it's in the title, kind of.
Yeah.
A lot of existential topics and stuff, but they're
I meant story-wise, they're not connected at all, and they're very different.
Yeah,
like the way they're animated is very, very different. And so you can tell that this is just this disjointed thing that's in 17-minute bite-sized pockets.
Yeah, you're like, oh, just one more. And then you finish it like, I want to watch more. Yeah.
Yeah, but like just watching that trailer, going back to the trailer, like just watching it, it was way different than anything I've seen on Netflix.
Yeah.
And I knew immediately, like, Caroline's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm adding it to the queue. Like, I want to watch this. Because you have no idea what it's about. It just gives you love, death, robots.
That's it.
And that's a perfect title.
Yeah.
By the way.
It fits really well. I mean, like we say that, like at the big spectrum of, you know, where it fits. It's kind of like these existential, you know, questions that we do as human beings when you're like maybe taking a shit.
Oh my God.
Like, this
robot
is going to take the world? How are we going to end? Is this real? I'm in the Matrix. And then.
Okay, yeah. So that's what my buddy basically compared it to, because he's always asking like what the next topic is.
Yeah.
And I told him it was going to be on Love, Death, and Robots. And he's like, I've already seen it. And I'm like, well, how'd you like it? He goes, do you remember the Animatrix? And I was like, yeah, of course. Like, that was like, I mean, we bonded over that in like high school. And he's like, it's basically like that, but like at least more focused. And what like, so he's like, it's okay. It's good. He's like, I was really into some, and then others I was like,
you can skip them.
Yeah. So, I mean, I appreciated his honesty. I watched the first two, and you cooked through the whole thing.
Yeah, definitely there are a few. I mean, I'm biased, you know, with this type of content that, you know, kind of existential content, or like when they try to make you think a little bit more. Yeah. So even though I can see like, yeah, you can skip that. Like, I feel it's a little bit disrespectful for the people that work really hard for each one of the episodes. Said that, there are a few that stand more, and they're my favorite. So maybe more later I'm going to tell you guys like my top maybe 5. So you can, if you don't want to, you know, if you don't want to like, oh, I don't want to start, like maybe you can go straight to that episode. Maybe you get hooked and then you watch the whole thing. But I think overall most of them are really great done. Like, it's high quality stuff, you know, especially the animations. That first one is just like...
Yeah, okay, so, again, speaking only watching 2, my schedule's a little tight. I'm on spring break now, so I'll be able to, like, cook through the rest of them, because I'm really into it now. Watching that first one, I wasn't sure if I was watching real footage when it first started, or if I was watching, like, if it was animated. Even though my brain knew it was animated before going in, I didn't know if it was going to switch to animation or what. But it is, and it was really realistic in the beginning before you saw some of the human characters, and you were like, "Oh, okay, I can." There's a clear difference.
But it's that line that's slowly, you know.
Yeah, that thick line of animated
it's shrinking. Yeah,
it's real
really
thin.
Great. Yeah,
I like that first one an awful lot.
Yeah, that's the reason I keep continuing to watch. And it's hard because they set the bar really high. And that's when you start watching other ones like, but then still they kind of hold.
So that first one, it's been a while since like I audibly have gasped at a TV show.
Right.
And I'm not going to spoil anything, but something happens towards the end of that, and I audibly, I'm by myself at home. Like, I scared my cat. Like, it was good. It was good TV.
Yeah, good storytelling, great cinematography.
For 17 minutes, that's all it was.
Yeah.
It compacted so many different things and did it so quickly, but I never felt like it was cheap or it was cheating me in some way.
Oh, no.
It was like a very good vignette. And those are very hard to pull off because you only have so many lines, so much space to pull something off like that. And with 17 minutes to get across this abstract point.
It built that universe also.
It did.
Yeah.
Now,
they set all the bases for like all the rules for that little universe. Yeah.
I have questions. Why did Netflix greenlight this? Like, I don't understand. That was a really good concept. Like, I would watch an entire series of this.
Oh yeah, easily. And don't think it's weird that we will start seeing that. Maybe out of some of these, they're gonna pull the main idea and then start making shows.
Just to give some context without spoiling too much, that first episode is basically people go to like an underground like animal fighting ring.
Right. They're
where
like beasts.
Yeah, monsters.
They can control and mind
that they are tapped into. Like the human will sit on the outer arena.
Right.
Telepathically connect to the beast that is like made in the laboratory, and then you will fight somebody else who's doing the same thing, and you'll see which beast wins. The main character,
the twist at the end is
right.
So we're not gonna we're gonna try to avoid as much things so you can watch, but it's well executed.
It was a catch-22 for sure, because like I've never seen a first episode of something set the bar so high in 17 minutes.
And probably because that's all they have. Maybe if they make a show, they obviously need to fill the time and extend it. But it was so good.
It was so well conceived and constructed. Like you said, there's an entire universe that they fleshed out and then never touched on, but you felt like it was there. What is it?
Highly inspiring cyberpunk.
You know what it felt like to me?
Runner.
It felt like when you know of Star Trek, you know that there's this whole universe of Star Trek, and say you know nothing really about Star Trek, but you know just enough about it, but you watch some random episode, you know that whatever alien's on screen has a backstory, and there have been many episodes with it, and you're just like, this world feels lived in. That's what this felt like, where I felt like there are all these little details where I'm like, what's that? What's that? Oh, who's this person? Oh, I wonder what their relationship is before. So
true.
It felt so alive, and I'm still shocked that it was only 17. It feels like 17 minutes, but it
fast. Yeah. When the end comes, it's like, wait, like, and you see the clock. It's like, oh damn, it's like almost 20 minutes, and it's
gone.
Yeah.
And I haven't felt like that in a really long time with TV shows. Usually, I need to let it burn. Yeah. Right now, we're watching Peaky Blinders on Netflix. It's a slow burning show. Yeah. And I mean, Caroline keeps asking me, what do you think? What do you think? And I'm like,
I don't know.
We're building. And they're hour long. It's 45 minutes. Ugh. But this, I want more. Like, I'm sad that we're not getting more. So that was my question of how did we come about this? Like, did everybody just kind of like roll the dice here and go like, I have an idea.
So from my understanding, David Fincher is producing. So no wonder, the high quality standard. Not just because it's him, but I bet him as a producer is like, I want to do this the best way possible.
Yeah.
And it's well known that he's really anal in his work. And also, I think the guy in charge is Tim Miller. What he did.
Oh, Deadpool.
Yeah. No, maybe. Yeah. So I think Deadpool. Or maybe I'm getting confused with the Suicide Squad guy. I think it's the Suicide Squad guy, because I think it may be that both has the same name.
I'm researching.
At least the last name, Miller. But those are the people that are in charge. They basically had, these scraps. Like they come up with these stories, and I bet that they were more like pitch ideas, but in these little episodes. and then they started researching the best. Oh yeah, maybe the probably is the Deadpool guy. That's different. So yeah, there you go, the Deadpool guy, the director of Deadpool. Thank you, Chris, for your assistance. So yeah, they come up with these ideas, like little short ideas, kind of like again, they seems like these story, kind of like when the way it works for movies. If you're not know how in the hell these movies get created, so you make your script and whatever, but you always need to have this pitch little sentences.
Elevator pitch, yeah.
Like a few lines, and you need to solve the whole story in those few lines. If it doesn't work, a lot of producers are like, no, I'm not going to greenlight this. So it seems like, they just little scrap ideas like, oh, man, like kind of like the second episode with the 3 robots. Like, that sounds like, some like fast, something come out, but like just come out with something funny. They involve these elements.
Yeah.
So then they go and research the best in the business for animation, and like here's the story, work with this, create a short film or like an episode with your style of animation. The third one, it's made by the same guy that did the animation Spider-Man and Spider-Verse.
No
and it's
way.
like amazing. It blew my mind. Like
I really wish I had just continued. I had more time, but I was like, okay, cool. I watched the first 2.
It's
like,
all right. Yeah.
Oh man, but
yeah.
In watching it, like I was gonna just do the whole thing by myself, but in watching those first 2 episodes, like with the, I guess, attachment that I had to a lot of what was being shown, I was like, no, Caroline kind of needs to see this. Yeah. Like I feel like it's not just like some like fluff piece, so to speak, like where it's like flash, cool, like quick concepts, you're done. Like I was really kind of thinking like, I like those characters, I like that thing. So I'm interested to see more of it, and I hope that I guess cadence can carry through
for the most part. Yeah, and there's like some awesome jewels just hidden in between all of them. Again, if you don't like them and you say like, it's crap or whatever, it's fine. Just I feel like I think there are 20-something episodes deserve that respect. Yeah.
20?
20-something.
Good God.
26 or something.
I thought maybe there was like 8.
But I think in total, it's like a 3-hour season. So it's not that long. Some of them, they're really short.
17.
Oh, but I went a little bit too long, but yeah. The last one is also like pure gold. It's like, damn, this is like great idea. It's kind of like almost like a Guillermo del Toro kind of idea. I know yeah. I mean, I'm telling you, like, even if you're not for those kind of topics, a lot of questions of humanity and stuff, it's well worth it. Like you say, if you like Animatrix, because bottom line, this is not like a brand new idea. There are even some Japanese anthology, kind of like this style.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure they took some influence from there. But if you like those kind of things, this is right in your alley. You're not gonna regret.
Right. And the piggybacking off of what you said with the, I mean, I hope that it can carry its theme throughout all of them. I mean, clearly you know the answer to this, because at least with the first 2, even though they are 2 starkly different stories, it was so apparent to see the theory of literally human emotion and existence. Like Hugo keeps saying it, but he's not wrong. This feeling of like, why do we do the things we do? What is learned feelings? What is not? What is innate? Why, like what we do to destroy ourselves. And then I guess at the heart of each one is a robot, which is...
Or like that merge between humanity and technology.
It blew... And so watching it, I hoped the others would carry that throughout, but keeping it fresh. Because that first one was so intense and raw, and then that second one was so... I guess
like a relief.
Oh yeah,
because
thank
it
God.
gets so tense, and then like, you get some comedy a little bit.
Yeah, and it literally made me laugh, but it was such a unique take on, what would we be like? What would the world be like if we were just all gone?
Right, and Facebook's still alive, and Skynet is alive.
Like to me, it was such a unique idea. I really liked it. I liked the 3 robots, so. I'm hoping I can find some little ray of sunshine in each one. I don't mind if some are, lower standards than others, but...
No, I think for the most part in animation, in general, you're going to be fine. Like, the quality is there. It's going to be a preference, and some of them kind of lack a little bit on the story, and like the funny thing is the one that the director or like Tim Miller direct, I think it was the most like boring of all of them. So basically, synopsis, and again, I'm not gonna spoil. Is like this couple get into a new house, they open their fridge and they find like this mini colony of humans in the fridge.
Go on.
Yeah, but I mean, nothing really new happened. I mean, we've seen this on The Simpsons, for example, with Lisa when she find these little,
Wasn't it the sea people?
I think so. Yeah, it's kind of like that. So it's visually a little bit here and there, but it's just the other ones are way better.
Hey, I mean,
it's not a bad console, like I said.
To its credit, I mean, if the guy who kind of like sparked it and was like really pushing for it makes the worst one, I mean, that speaks volumes about everybody else that got involved into the project. Right. So that's a great first step then. If you're the weak link, but it was your idea, that means that other people can run with this concept and make it something even greater. Yeah. I'm okay with it.
And again, it's like a playground to explore ideas. Yeah. That's how it feels. So, and, how many times we talk about getting bored of other things. Like, we want something different.
And I mean, this is something different. The only thing I can compare this to is Black Mirror.
A little bit, yeah.
I mean, as far as like what it is, like what kind of like show it is. Black Mirror takes a concept, expands it over the course of an hour, and really makes you think like Twilight Zone-ish. Like, that's what it's like. Yeah. But where this is coming from, you have 17 minutes instead of that long time to procure that. So if all the rest of them can do what these first two have done, I don't even know, like a stupid, what do you call them? Like an idiom where I can like say something. But like, to me, like, I'm impressed completely. I'm blown away. Like, I thought I would like this, but I love this so far.
Yeah, it just gets you hooked. Like I said, I watched that first one, and like, it's hard to top it off that one. And then you have that relieved second episode. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, I have to go do stuff, and like, but I want to watch another one, and I want to watch another one. So I probably finish in 2 days, like, because again, the whole season is like 3 hour ish. So it's like a movie, really. Yeah. Round time. But it's just you getting so much. Like, it's like you're being like you're just trying different ice cream flavors, and like, I want more, I can't stop. Shovel me.
When they're all free.
Well, yeah. So one thing that I didn't know research, because then I start researching like who's in charge of this. Like, I sometimes get like that geek.
I mean, that's why you are
we're
the way
doing
you are.
This. Yeah, and that's the reason we're doing it. But yeah, I researched and like, okay, David Fincher has sense, is the type of guy that he will approach these kind of topics, and it's kind of fits his style, with the movies he does. Yeah. And then I didn't know that there was a term to like not appropriate for work, NF whatever. Like, do you know that?
Wait, what?
There's a term for this type of content, like not appropriate for work, and PTW whatever.
Oh, the not safe for work.
No, not safe for work. I didn't know about that thing. So now it's classified this kind of content, like it's almost like if it's a genre, but it's like, no, it's called logic. You don't watch things like this at work, or like with your speakers bumping everywhere.
Right. Now, I mean, usually when they label it that way for not safe for work, it's that sometimes, you have your Netflix app and you want to watch a movie on your break at your cubicle or whatnot. It's your time. You could do something for 15 minutes. Basically, when they label it that, it's, hey, there's some stuff on here that if somebody looks over at you watching it, it's not going to be appropriate. I don't know. And clearly, like, it blew me away. There were some topless moments in there, and I was even like, whoa.
And just wait for Moses. You're going to see.
Are you serious? I thought it was a one-off thing.
Full penis and everything, which I think is fine. And
I mean, yeah, no, it's
I'm
not.
I'm gonna move to the other topic, because then I read an article, and I'm gonna put them maybe in the description. And there's nothing wrong. I mean, everybody has their opinion, but they were complaining there was too much, breast exposure and whatever. And like, well, there's also full penis. It's like both ways,
right?
Like sexualized.
My thing is like historically, I mean, when things like when you show like a full penis, like most people are like, yeah, that's a hard R. Like when you go full on, like let's show that. Like I get it. Like let's be equal here, but like when you have to, like it's one thing for somebody to just be up there and do it versus like I was animating for Love, Death, and Robots. Really, what'd you do? I worked on the genitalia.
I'm the penis model.
Yeah. I mean, I wanted to say it. I'm just trying not to make any more
I'm
memes.
pretty sure there's maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just trying not to make memes.
I mean,
now.
there are hand models and like specific part models. Penis model.
That's Jeff down the hall and to the left. He's your genital guy. But but like to actually have to do that, like they're going all in. That's why I was like, oh my god, like this gets like so much more. I usually when things do this, they'll do that in like the first 1 or 2 or 3 just to get like grab the audience's attention, then slowly take that away because now you're hooked. You first went in there because you're like boobs. Now they got you for story reasons.
But there are other content where they do it on purpose. Like really on purpose, and here doesn't seem forced. It kind of fits the story that's just trying to tell, you know.
Yeah.
And I mean, again, it depends who you are. That's how you're gonna take it. To me personally, I feel like it's fine. It's both ways. There, you know, both men and guys. If you like to call it like that, they're being sexual to a certain point or another. You know, to me, if it fits the story and what they're trying to tell, I think it's fine.
I agree.
But again, you know, if that's your, actually let us know what you think about that in the comment section. Why they do that all the time? Those like big YouTube. Hey, what's up?
Because your audience is children and you want to get attention, and clearly you don't think you
definitely we don't need children population in this.
What's up, guys?
This is not safe for kids,
so you could say it's not safe for work.
Well, yeah, I guess not safe for children.
Also, I mean, I guess, and this is where I have a big problem too, because it's very animated, and some of the cartoons that you see in the trailer are like cartoons, and this is where a lot of parents kind of tune out. Like, so you need to have that labeled that this is not a safe thing. Like, this is not a kid's show at all.
I just can say it's an adult content, something.
Yeah.
Because to me, that term kind of makes it more confused. I mean, it's not safe for work, but it's for adults, or it's like, you know what I mean?
My problem with, like, if something was labeled adult content, like, say I'm a dad and, you know, my kid's like, can I watch this? And it's like adult content, like, and that's what it's like thrown up there. I would think like it's like softcore porn. I'd be like, ooh, no. And even then, I wouldn't even go back and try to watch it. But if it usually just says like not safe for work, has that label, it's usually like trying to warn me, like, like, it's got some bigger things in there that you don't want to like be just out on the bus watching your favorite TV show, and then you're like, oh.
Yeah. But Deadpool was just, you know, rated R.
And that's, I guess, because it's Deadpool and he's shooting guns and flipping and doing stuff, so you have it rated R versus like this crude animation, right? They need to throw something up there to get your attention to say like, listen, this is not for kids. This is not something you just watch casually out in a public arena. Like,
if you're a parent nerd watching this, it's not for kids at all.
Please.
Yeah, don't be that dad. I'm so cool. Like, no, you're not cool. Not even a single gram of coolness is in your.
If you think your kid is mature enough for it, think again. He just became king of the kids and will show all of his friends and tell them about this.
We're talking like little kids, obviously.
Yeah.
Then after a certain age, well, that depends of each parent. We're not here to preach what you or not to do, but let's use common sense, especially for these type of contents, for sure. Just like those parents, the 2 kids and 2 Deadpool. What the heck you were thinking? Yeah.
If you don't believe him, I see them all the time, and I'm like, what's your favorite movie? And they're like, Deadpool. I'm like, you're 5. You are 5. Yeah. I saw him. He cut his head off.
Right. We're children of late capitalism. Anyway, coming back to the series, because that's what we're not talking. We're not going to try to make it a sad podcast.
Too late.
But let's put some happiness in your life. But anyways, just to round up the whole series, I think it's worth your time. You don't feel bad to skip something you don't like. I don't think it's a big deal. I mean,
I would agree. It's not like a TV show where you need to watch this episode to understand the next one. This is like if it's your cup of tea, awesome, keep sipping. If not, get new tea. Go to the next episode.
There's one that the yogurt's supposed to conquer the world. And to a certain extent, it's like has some kind of dark humor that's kind of cool, but it's like, you can skip it. So yeah, yogurt conquered the world. Just that's
like Batman's Joker.
What do you mean?
You said the Joker conquers.
No, yogurt.
Yogurt.
Yogurt conquered the world. I mean, maybe I can catch your attention. Like you don't know what episode is gonna catch your attention. The one that definitely
yogurt like that conquered the world. It became sentient and conquered the. I straight up thought you said Joker, and I'm like, how did they get the license for freaking Joker?
Yeah,
this is interesting. What do you mean this isn't like you could skip this? This sounds excellent. No, yogurt. This changes
Sorry for my English, guys.
everything.
Some words are still hard to pronounce.
You're fine. I just couldn't. I was just like, this is an awesome idea.
The one that definitely, I mean, to me, if you like even more the old school 2D style of like animation, I think it's called Blue Figma or something like that. That's a keeper. That's definitely a no skip. It's so simple, but it works flawlessly.
Now, see, I'm all excited. Like, I'm trying to... Oh, no, Caroline's got work tomorrow. I was like, I'm going to try to convince her to watch that first episode again. Maybe I can't because it's only 17 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. That's your
That's
your
my
pitch.
out. Yeah.
It's not that long, baby. It's just real fast.
Because that's how I talk to Caroline. It's not that long, baby.
It's not that long. No, okay. No. It would be so dumb. Yeah. Don't do it. Your wife or couple is going to hate you. But yeah, again, it's just, you know what? The part that I love a lot of this is just the experimentation side.
I do too. So, and when I watched it, it made me really happy for that, but it also made me sad.
Mm-hmm.
Because after watching that first one, I'm really sad that that's it. That I'm never going to see that again. Like, that's how good it was. And, like, I'm happy that a lot of these animators and people get to, like, a chance to tell a story or get a chance to put, like, their art style out there. Like, I think that's all great. But, man, damn it, for those few that were really good.
Again, I don't, let's try to think, again, positive, and if the response is great, which it seems it is.
You know what I say? I say we do a battle royale. I say at the end of the season, you hold like a Royal Rumble. I want the fans to vote on like their top 4.
Right.
And from those top 4, we'll get like the top 1, and that will be made into its own series. Now, those top 4 will get a second episode in season 2.
Gotcha.
That way, they get to at least continue on from what they're doing, as long as the concept was good.
Yeah.
I assume the yogurt one doesn't exactly lend itself to having a sequel.
Again, I thought it was like, it's fun.
I'm just saying, like, some of them, like, you can tell. I would really want to see them extend it, or at least give a few of them a shot to have, like, another episode. But the one from that season that just stood, like, heads and tails above the rest, give it a 5-episode run on something and see how it does. Like, what's the worst that could happen?
I mean, to me, it doesn't sound crazy. They're already working on something like that. They have the numbers. They know if people is watching or not, which is the one that they're watching the most,
Yeah.
And like talking about, and they need more content. Like a lot of stuff is going away, or not like crazy. It's not like an exodus of content from Netflix.
No.
A lot of big important content is gonna go away, so they need to fill that gap.
And this is like proactively thinking, how can we pad our content? When you think about it, like, this is a perfect platform to do that. Now that I think about it, because you're already spending money on like pilots. Think about it like pilots. Most pilots don't even make it to actual like daylight, because most executives will either give it a thumbs up, thumbs down, and then you just never see it, or you at least get an order of about 5 episodes. If the audience attaches to it, they order more episodes, you get a first season. I think that this is a wonderful way to have Netflix users say what they actually want to watch.
The power to people that's actual paying.
Because Netflix can think, like, because Netflix doesn't have that luxury. Netflix, gets the do we want to have any backers for this? Okay, we'll back this a concept.
Right.
They'll put out the entire first season,
Right.
and then hopefully everybody watches. And like Hugo said earlier, we're at a 50-50 crossroad here. That some of this stuff is excellent.
And why to
Some
invest?
is terrible. I'm looking at you. This is how it ends. I still hate you. Theo James, for shame.
But talking about that, now actually you said that it makes sense. What if Netflix is pitching us? Not to producers, to us.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
this
exactly.
is a perfect example
They're
of like
pitching these ideas. And
I'm all for it. I wish I could just say yay.
Yeah.
Like give the Caesar thumbs
Right,
up to
right.
this one. I give this one just like nah, trash it. Like
Exactly.
what a wonderful concept.
Like instead of like wasting time on producing,
You cut out the middleman.
right, and also like instead of spending a lot of money in the whole season that may not work, at least you already test the waters with these kinds of ideas. Like this one they like it, this one let's put now the money in there and let's produce it.
I've never thought of like when somebody like when Hugo has to sell me on a series. Like right now he's really talked up. What is it? The Kingdom.
The Kingdom, yeah.
On Netflix, and even then I'm like I looked at the episode, they're hour long. It's got a
Yeah.
whole season. I like the premise. I just have to will myself to watch it. And then once I get
Exactly.
hooked, I'll be there.
Yeah,
But this, I'm
Yeah.
already hooked.
yeah.
I'm like, that was so simple to just boom. So for me to go like, I really enjoyed this 10 out of 10. Like I would love to watch this as a season. And if Netflix came out with a season of that first episode,
I think it will work
Immediately.
Yeah. It's just so much. They laid out so much that like they can do prequel, like what happened before, what happened forward. Like it's so much to like fill the little gaps.
and even if they don't do that character, just that concept alone of that world,
Yeah.
wonderfully done. So I would watch anything if they announced that it was, I think they called them Beasties. If that's what it was called, Beasties, boom, I'm
Yeah.
watching first season of Beasties, no problem.
There you go, Netflix. Chris is gonna bring a shirt that has beasties on her chest. In his chest.
I mean, most of the characters actually didn't wear shirts.
That's true.
There was a lot of shirtless people.
Well, I mean, that's the whole point of cyberpunk. That
And I enjoyed the hell out of the blacklight stuff. And it's very stylistic.
Oh yeah.
There's nothing I've ever seen like it. So again, I
probably
enjoy.
the closest was Blade Runner. Something like
Oh,
that.
for that, yeah.
Like, it's like the closest kind of style, but they went a notch further. Probably they can do more in animation.
Can you
and
actually imagine if they just redid Blade Runner,
animated.
and just animated it?
They did a few, like 5 animated episodes before.
Then I'm just ignorant.
no, but I mean they weren't a little bit under the radar
Yeah.
for the most part. But it's kind of like that same thing. 5 episodes with different style of animation. Which again, guys, this is not a new concept. It's just like I think Netflix did it really well.
Yeah,
It's like it's worth to recommend it.
yeah.
Yeah, and you're gonna jump to the third one, which is that Spider-Man Spider-Verse.
I can't wait. I'm so sad
animated.
I didn't keep going. I had tons of time too.
Yeah,
I
that
was
one.
so angry.
It's again like you first, then you go down a little bit so you can relax, and then you go with this neat third one. So it's kind of like going up and down. The only one that can think that I can say like you may be able to skip and still, it's kind of like again, it's just this playground really. So it's a guy that lives like in a dumpsters and has a monster friend or something. But I mean, it does the like. If we're talking about quality,
I'd rather watch a 17-minute snippet of that and decide already. Like I'm like, nah, I don't really want to see that. Versus like try to waste a season of my life trying to watch it and think like, do I like this?
Yeah, that's the problem. And Netflix, I think, let's see how this evolves and how it moves forward. But it wouldn't be strange that maybe now, from time to time, Netflix is gonna throw you. We have our anthology, and then from there they're gonna strike a few ones and start making full-on seasons of content.
And it's not even that far off. They've got a lot of weird
Yeah.
original animated concept stuff that I'm like, wow, they spent a lot of time making a 22 episode season on like The Legend of Monkey. And it's this weird, it looks like Avatar, The Last Airbender. Like it looks like a cheap copy of that. I was scrolling through it and you're like, wait, what? There's like 2 or 3 of them like that. And you're just like, this isn't like, it's not It's not for kids. Like it looks like it's made for kids, but it's like a high enough concept where you're like, this is aimed at teens. And I don't think a single teen wants to watch this. Like, you miss the mark big time. So I think something like this might be good too for like what
people is liking.
Yeah, like especially for young adults, like what will people tune into? And then you have a data, you have your research, and you have your know-how, and how many people actually watched it and rewatched it.
Exactly. They have all those measurements. Why not?
Because it's just too smart.
But then again, like we say 50-50, that's a big margin for Netflix. Like, they don't want to lose money. Like, why am I going to invest all this? Because this is millions of dollars on series that they don't work. These ways, like, we're going a more safe route.
Instead of investing, $10 million to make 10 shows at $1 million each, why not spend $1 million making one show with 17 episodes, and then cherry pick those, and then boom. It's flawless. Netflix, it's flawless.
It's brilliant. Yeah, probably did. Like, that's the closest thing to God, maybe.
Oh God.
No.
I mean, I understand that this is flawed. Yeah. It's just like, and I'm sure that somebody thought of this before, but it doesn't get any easier than this.
Yeah, it's funny. Like, if you think Netflix is one of those services that nobody gives nobody give them that much shit. Like, in Apple, and like, as soon as they have a little misstep, oh no, you motherfucker.
You're right, because like there have been terrible movies, and everybody's just like meh. And then anytime you get one that's like even mediocre, like Bird Box, everybody's like Bird Box. And I mean, like,
that's it. Chris said it. Bird Box is shit.
Yeah,
I second that.
Yeah. Had I not seen A Quiet Place, I would have been like, that was a really unique idea. But like, it came after A Quiet Place, which did all those concepts.
I think that was
way better. Like, that was terrible timing. It's like one of those old school, like back in the 90s when like one studio would make a concept and the other studio would make something that was really similar to it to try to keep up. That's what this is like. That they were like, oh, those animals couldn't see. They could just hear really well. What happens if we make invisible animals that you can only see, you can't hear?
Evil person.
Yeah, like, it's such a weird concept. Like, you're blind, and then they won't hurt you.
Now, if you put that in context and parallel to what we're talking about the series, it can go wrong if they choose one of these concepts and they don't develop the idea the way it should. It can go bad. I mean, that same animation that we saw in that first episode, if it's not produced and like well written and everything, it can become shit so easily enough.
Now to combat, you're completely right, because to combat that, I would say, like, look at Game of Thrones. If you don't believe me, there is a lost pilot episode of Game of Thrones that hasn't seen the light of day because it is rumored to be terrible. We have a different Khaleesi, we have different actors in certain roles, and it's just a disjointed piece of crap. So to me, like, that could happen to any series, and Game of Thrones is one of the best series really historically ever to grace film or on our televisions, and at least like an ambitious one. So I mean, anything can become shit with the wrong kind of producers, the wrong people backing it, and not taking care of the actual source. So I think of whoever made that first episode, who wrote it, who was there, you're gonna have to give them a team that they trust.
It was like, thank you, we call you. Uncle HBO, like, we're gonna call you later. But that's the thing, that's to me, that's what the big difference. Like, HBO is a company that normally don't throw shitty products out there or like content. Like, they care a lot, and because they're obviously putting a lot of millions of dollars.
So HBO, I like to call Netflix Prime. HBO is Netflix before the internet.
Oh yeah.
When you think about it, movies, when they would leave the theater, would actually come to HBO first. And it was like digital streaming without digital streaming. Because these movies would be shown on HBO that you would pay a monthly subscription for this premium content. And you would get all these movies. Now, back in the day, remember, TV. Couldn't watch what you wanted to watch. You had to wait 7:30. You'd look it up on the TV guide, a completely separate thing. and you would see it's on at 7:30, and you would watch your movie at 7:30 without commercials, the same as Netflix. Now, HBO then started to realize that they're paying gobs of money to the studios to put the movies on every month. You know, you would pay, I mean, HBO would pay and have the rights to those movies for like that month. If they want to renew some based on who's watching, they can.
Yeah.
Then they realized if we make our own content, we're not really having to license out like actual to other movie studios. We're paying ourselves, and then we get to keep some of that revenue where people pay us the $40, $50 on top of their cable bill.
But actually, they wanted, like, let's bring the cinema quality to our TV shows.
Right, and so they knew whatever they brought, it would have to be good. Like, Netflix has a lot of lives. Like, let's be real. If you talk about video game terms, Netflix can keep putting out crap and nobody cares because it's $7 a month.
Yeah,
You're just
exactly.
like, I watched a shitty, TV show. Or I watched a shitty movie that they put out. Whatever. I'll watch this next one.
Yeah.
Because there's so much stuff. Didn't used to work that way back in the day, like in the 80s and 90s. So like whenever HBO did have a show, they needed to know that it was good, that it was great, and that it was something they could back, which is why HBO shows have a lot of Emmys, a lot of awards, and a lot of high-name talent because they needed to make sure it worked. They didn't have as many lives as Netflix. Can you imagine if the first 5 or 6 original content from HBO just bombed? Now,
they couldn't afford.
No, that's what I'm talking about. They couldn't afford. But Netflix, Netflix can. It's making money hand over fist because if I don't like Netflix's original content, guess what? There's thousands of movies for me to watch at any single time. Didn't used to work like that with HBO. If I hated the show that they had on, I would move away from their programming because it was on for the next 3 hours. Like, I don't want to watch that movie you put on HBO. Like, that's shitty. I'm moving on to Showtime. Like, and they couldn't have that.
Right. Exactly. Couldn't say it better than you could.
And now you know. There you go. That's my new segment. Now you know.
Yeah, kids are like, are you telling me that you couldn't watch whatever you want, whatever time you want?
It is such a weird concept to explain that to 6-year-olds and 7 and 8-year-olds who have never grown up in a world without internet or Netflix.
Just tell me about it. When kids sees me with a film camera, so you have to put the pictures in the camera, but then when you take it, you can't see it. What the fuck is this sorcery?
Right, like how does this work?
Concepts like that.
The same thing too with like a vinyl.
Oh, yeah.
Well, how is the sound coming out?
Yeah.
Well, through the grooves in the record, amplified through the needle, and then through the sonogram, through the speaker. Like, but how? Like, they don't understand that concept. Like, it's not coming from a CD. It's not coming from. It's such a weird thing to explain. That it's a dead technology, and unfortunately, like something like film is something of the past. Like, do you ever remember carrying like your old school digital camera, your phone?
And they were small. Like I'm like right now we're recording with this tiny camera and it's recording 4K, and it's like this tiny thing. And back in the day,
smaller than my phone.
You had to carry these like big ass camera.
Oh
with
my
tapes.
God! I remember my dad sometimes sitting like on a Christmas program for our school, and like with the dad remembers. Hi, Dad. You just had it like on your. It looked like a bazooka. Like you just mounted it. It even had like a shoulder pad thing, and it would
shitty quality.
Oh.
Yeah.
You loaded a whole VHS tape in there like ammo.
Yeah.
Had the little mic on, like a boom, like a mini boomstick. It was so crazy.
Yeah.
And now, guess what? You can have your video camera, your actual picture camera, and your phone, and you know what? Now your wallet.
Yeah, basically.
Right here.
See, we're
done.
We're done.
Also a computer.
I seen some kids like, "What is your computer?" No, just my phone. That's all I need.
Or watches, or a watch. You know what? I will say though, like. I'm another tangent. Sorry, guys.
No,
I miss watches. I really do. Like, I think it's a wonderful piece of like just aesthetics. I guess this is how older people feel about like freaking like pocket watches. Like they're like it's lost on you kids. Like I miss having like a watch.
You're gonna love that episode Sigma Blue a lot.
Blue? Oh damn it!
Don't cheat and watch the whole thing. But yeah, when it comes, you're gonna understand. Because it's like that concept of like doing one single action, but perfect. Now these days we want to do all these, so many things, and just do one, but do it right.
Right, because now with this, as soon as I had a phone, even a old school potato phone, like when they first came out, it was like, why do I need a separate? Yeah, the ones that would never break. Why do I need a separate thing on my wrist to tell me the time when I'm usually having this thing like in my hand most of the day? Like I'm like, oh, it's this time, easy.
Talking about that technology, we're almost done, but let's just let's throw our few cents
back around.
I know. Yeah, you know the deal. We're getting old, so we lose track of our thoughts.
He says we. It's usually me.
Well, yeah. But let's throw our a few cents, and then maybe in the next podcast we can go more deeper, talking about technology and things moving forward. The one that kind of like took a few time to do it, but slowly we're having like little tracks of what's gonna be the future is video games. The other god, Google, have an announcement.
Oh my god!
There you go. That's all we. You know, it's Netflix for movies, the Spotify for music, and everybody talks about like all these catastrophe for analog lovers, or like at least having a physical thing. Google came and announced this service called Stadia or Stevia.
I don't care.
It's an awful name and logo. But so basically, it's you're gonna, or what they're trying to achieve or propose you is sell you a service where you can stream video games through a Chrome device, I guess. And basically that's meaning that they're trying to cut off consoles, meaning you don't need to buy an Xbox or PlayStation or Switch or by any means like any video game device or dedicated device. You're simply just going to go to your phone or your computer with their Chrome service or Chrome product. You're going to be able, they're going to stream the video signal from the massive servers around the world to your computer. So, you don't need to buy a console. Everything's going to be through internet. Which, it brings a lot of issues with connections. Not everybody in the world has the fastest connection. Input lag. Some people get upset about that. The fact that, a lot of people likes to have their games physically or the console. So basically what I want to do, because we don't want to extend a lot, is just give you a few impressions of that news.
I love it and I hate it. I hate it more than I love it. I love the idea of not ever having to buy another console. Like that to me, I'll pay a hefty fine. I'll pay $1,000. I'm not kidding. I'll pay the $1,000, but like having the ability to like do it, like it's just always going to be upgraded for me. Like low maintenance for just buying new controllers every now and then, buying my games, never having to worry about that. There's something really nice about it. However, I agree with Hugo. The ability to never own those games and have them, like, it scares me to death sometimes when I buy things digitally, because if something were to ever happen, like I delete the game for more hardware space. Like PT, you deleted the game for more hardware space, and then the licensing rights went out. You can't ever reinstall those things because the digital rights are different than physical rights. And to me, that's really shit. You paid for a product. It's yours. You just deleted it off your hardware. It's still licensed to you, but you can't have it anymore because Google let the licensing run out on this part. Like, when somebody holds all the keys and all the cards, I'm not okay with that.
Cool, yeah.
Right. It's a little bit like Disney right now. I mean, next, if they announce in like 5 years,
we own DC now. They will have it all.
Yeah, we're making a bid to buy Warner Brothers. Like, I'm calling it now. Watch out, 5 years from now. But like, I have a problem with that.
Yeah.
That you lose your ability to innovate when one person holds all the cards.
Exactly.
We're getting such high graphical upgrades, and we're pushing those boundaries because Sony is trying to one-up Microsoft. Microsoft is trying to one-up Sony, and everybody's trying to have a stable of heroes and games and IPs that can rival Nintendo. But when everybody can just be linked to one thing, you stop that level of innovation, and that becomes dangerous because then we start to plateau. And even though everybody's separate and they're doing their own thing, I'd rather see cross-platform play. I'd rather see everybody be able to play from their chosen consoles across platforms, a la kin of Minecraft and Fortnite. You can do it, and it's fine, and everybody has fun, and there wasn't any dip in sales or consoles. Like, it just, everybody legitimately had fun.
Right.
So I like the concept.
But yeah,
I don't want the execution.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see how they deal with it. It's supposed to launch this year, and if somebody has the horsepower to do something at that scale, well, it's Google. They have services everywhere. They have their fiber optic service, which is super fast internet. So it seems like, even though I know you can think that Google has a lot of failures because they have a lot of products that just they disappear. Like even Google Plus is gone now. A couple of weeks ago,
Cheeky bastard, Google Plus.
Yeah, there's the one company that can come and shake things a little bit, but again, it's like I think it's just launched in America, Europe, and several markets. Obviously, their internet is fast.
You're right.
They didn't announce any super exclusive. The only one was Doom Eternal. And the interesting thing is, like, they're gonna stream 4K, 60p. It doesn't mean that you're gonna get it. Like, that's, those are the details that they don't never explained very well. Means that you're gonna get the processing computer, wherever it's sending you a signal, is working at 4K 60. But if you have a really shitty internet, you maybe gonna get a 220p or something.
Shout out to my brother, who's always reminding me that my internet is absolute garbage. I mean, when I used to be at my old house, we would, I would be able to play Destiny or Grand Theft Auto 5, but the second the third or fourth person joined our session, my internet just took a giant dump and just dropped me. Now, we don't live in an undeveloped part of the world. No. We live in
California, for all places.
Southern California, in a highly populated area where you would expect that we'd have great internet access, and we do. Mm-hmm. I pay good money for my internet. I moved to my new place, got a different internet provider, and the same things will still happen from time to time. And Google, can you promise me that this is going to be different? Because
just pay my super expensive fiber optic.
No.
See, it's not that. I think it's not
monopoly. That's when they have you. When I have no other choice, I have no other option. No, I don't know.
But on the other,
I could be proven wrong.
On the other side, E3 is gonna be the Xbox announcement, and rumor says that they're also kind of in the same way. Cuphead now it's on Switch. Do you expect that move
for Switch?
Cuphead
on Switch.
Which is supposed to be exclusive game to Xbox.
I would say so, because I would think I'm all for exclusives.
Yeah.
I would much rather live in a world where there are timed exclusives, and then after a set amount of time, everybody else gets to enjoy it. Yeah. Because there are those elitists among us that are like, I want to play it now. I want to play Cuphead. I don't want to wait 2 years for it to come to my system. They just want to get those people push them to buy an Xbox just for Cuphead. Go for it. If I was a PS4 user, that's not me. Unfortunately for me, I'm a Xbox user, so we got it. But things like Spider-Man for the PS4, I really want to play that game so bad.
There's always a problem with these exclusives.
Had it been only PS4 for a year and then move to Xbox, I'll wait. I'll wait the year. That's okay. So for Cuphead, I have no problem with it moving to Switch. I would love for more people to play that great game. Because it's a hell of a lot of fun, and the more people that play it, the better for independent studios.
Especially for independent
like that, where they hand drew everything. Who does that anymore? Yeah. Give these guys some recognition. Let other people enjoy it. Yeah, I say all's fair.
But you don't think that then that's the beginning of Xbox becoming more a service than a console maker? They said they're not going to leave the console market, but they're being really clear towards,
I would
little hints we don't think we can see Master Chief being in these console blah blah this,
Okay, so here's where I would draw the line. Independent studios that Microsoft licenses to be exclusive for a time. Yeah. Okay. their own studios that were like, it's coming from in-house like Halo used to be. I
Right.
mean, I know it was done through Bungie, but it was definitely a corporation that was absorbed through Microsoft.
Exactly.
Having things like that, those are exclusive. Because you have things like Nintendo. I don't ever think I'll ever play Zelda on my Xbox. And I don't expect to.
Never say never. Justin Bieber 2000.
2009.
No, but like, yeah, that's the biggest strength, I think, of Nintendo.
Right.
You're not
It's
gonna-
it's the only reason they're here. Let's be honest. It's their IPs.
if not a big reason.
Because they failed. They failed about twice now, and Switch is just hanging on, but that's because at least it's got a better release schedule with
Yeah.
their IPs than the Wii U did, which only released like, what is it? Like Mario. Super Mario Wii U. Super Mario 3D World. Like, it just was like
Right.
all Super Mario. Like, there was no major, there was no Metroid, there was no Zelda, there was no anything other than some Mario remakes. That's where it failed. At least with the Switch, we've gotten a lot of key players getting their own
Tons
games
of
again.
Indie games, really good indie games.
There's the difference.
Yeah.
But the reason why you sell so well is because you have a huge gallery
Yeah.
of characters that people care about and have grown up with.
Exactly.
That's their secret weapon. Versus Sony and Xbox, which have the graphical power and the multiplayer thing. Because the Switch still doesn't have it, let me mind you.
Oh,
The Switch's multiplayer experience is hot garbage.
yeah, it's still lacking a lot of features.
I would think that the person who coded all of that was from he was a freshman in college that was learning how to do it, because it is horrid. And in today's society, where most things like a Skype call can do a better job, like that's what me and my buddies did on the Wii U. We Skype called each other or put each other on speakerphone to talk to each other, because trying to use the Wii U
It
was like
yeah.
a screaming match to get it to work. No.
Yeah. Now,
How did I get here?
Xbox, no, Xbox Live also it's gonna be on the Switch.
Right, because the Switch can't do it. Like, whoever is over there in Japan putting that together is like, you know what? I'm not going to reinvent the wheel. Let's just port Xbox Live. Smart move.
Right. That's what I mean. Where I said the Xbox seems like trying to go toward that side of the business. Like, maybe we should focus more. I mean, because talking about seriousness, we're telling the Switch it's not the perfect console, and it's not. Even though it's having some success, it's not. Compared to the Wii success, well, it's not close yet at all. And Xbox also failed to fulfill the needs of a lot of gamers.
Yeah.
They did a lot of mistakes, and they're paying big. But it seems like, well, we screwed up. Why we don't put all this effort to become more of a service than console-wise? And, we can have some margin, but let's not focus a lot on the console side. How do you feel about it? You being somebody that's
Super into it.
right or invested a lot of your money and time.
I hope they don't. I mean, I've still got my system, and if they
Right.
do go more into the system side of things without a console, I at least know the service of Xbox Live will still be around, and therefore if they stop making consoles, I could still play my games. Their servers will still be up. That's not the issue. I'd be sad that console would go by the wayside, like the Dreamcast or the Sega. I'll be sad if that ends up happening. I'll understand, but I'll migrate to a different console, because as long as it happens at the end of a console generation and we move to the next one and I can still play my same games, as long as I'm able to transfer certain things over, like a gamer score or my gamer tag, something,
Right,
I'll be okay. Because when you think about it, when I moved from my Xbox 360 to my One, I thought, I'm going to go back and play all my games, and I'm going to I really haven't touched them. And to be fair, they're like these little keepsakes I have in my drawer, and I'm like,
Right.
I remember that game. That was a good game. I'll show that to my kids someday. But I've never touched it again.
Yeah.
So again, if the Xbox did go under, it would go under the same category in my head as my N64.
Right.
A great thing attached to great memories that I could go back for. But as long as I have a new console to jump to,
Right.
I'm okay with that happening. I just don't want the innovation to stop, which is what I'm afraid with Google, where if it takes a conglomerate view of
Right.
all of it, saying we'll put everything here.
Well, it's crazy what also, again, I'm with you with the mixed feelings, because there's another feature where, let's say you're watching gameplay on YouTube and you have their service, there's gonna be a button at the bottom that you click. Like he's gonna tell you which game is going on the video, blah blah description, and there's gonna be the Stadia button. You click it, and then you're gonna go straight to playing the game. You know, it's like
I'm listening.
Yeah, or like let's say you have your favorite streamer and they're gonna have chat video, like what they call it, living rooms or whatever games.
Yeah.
And you're gonna can go and play directly that game with your favorite streamer without intermediate like console battle, like you said, barriers between you're in PlayStation, I'm in Xbox. Like all that is gonna go away, and it can be a waiting list for that streamer to play with their fans, and you know these little features that seems appealing to certain demographic.
That's where I feel like Xbox was trying to go. I think Google just kind of beat them to it because they're an independent party.
Yeah.
They can say we can do this. I think Xbox has been trying to push this for a while now with trying to say, like, let's cross-platform. Mm-hmm. I think giving up secrets of the trade and being like, here's our Xbox Live service, Nintendo.
Right.
I think they're trying to show in good faith, like, listen, we can all really work together without feeling like we're eating each other's market shares.
Yeah.
Like, let's make this a real like place to play. Like
Totally.
let the players pick, because obviously those who bought in Xboxes also buy PS4s for their exclusive games, and they've also bought Switch for their exclusive games. Like Nintendo, they bought ours. I think players, it's not about, you know, like being loyal or whatnot. It's about just being able to play with their friends. And sometimes they get sad when they're not able to just, they have to buy 2 different copies of the same game. Or if, you know, 2 of the friends buy it on the PS4, but then they have their other friend that has like just an Xbox, like somebody's always left out. I think what they want to do is something like Google. I think Google's just able to do it on a grander scale because they don't have a dog in the fight yet.
Well, if somebody can give fight to Google, it's going to be Xbox, because let's remember that Xbox is owned by Microsoft, another tech giant that has a lot of technology in development.
Right. So that's what I'm trying to say. Like, it's, I think Microsoft was trying to set up those structures. It's harder because, you know, obviously Sony or Nintendo might not always trust that.
Yeah.
I mean, Nintendo obviously did adopting the Xbox Live.
Yeah.
But having somebody like Google who's like, hey, I'll just do it all for you, and that way you don't feel like you're having to trust the enemy there.
Right.
Would be like that middleman peacemaker. But then again, it's going to rip that away from it. I don't know. I have so many mixed feelings.
Yeah. So also it's just a lot, and maybe in the next episode we're going to go into more in depth, because it's so much we can start. Like, there's a lot of meat that we can rip off from this topic for sure.
Yeah.
But before we finish, there's anything that you watched this week?
I'm watching Peaky Blinders.
All right, there we go.
And have you watched it?
No.
Have you all watched it?
Yeah, let us know.
Peaky Blinders. It's a good period piece. What I like about it is the music. It uses a lot of like old school contemporary rock intermittent in there, even though it's set, you know, early 1900s in freaking Scotland or Ireland.
Sounds anticlimactic.
But
it works. Huh?
It's very stylized in that regard. However, I mean, this is what my wife hates about it, because I always talk about pacing and what's going on. It's got a real problem pacing. Like, we will move forward like, like the show just has, it's like a lawnmower that's running out of gas. Like it'll go and it'll have like an interesting thing happen, and then we'll just get nothing for 20 minutes. We'll get a whole lot of talking with Irish accents, and then like it's fine.
Can you imitate an Irish accent?
Oh, it's a Peaky Blinders there.
Yeah, that's good.
It's so, and my wife hates it. Like, I'll do it more, but she's just like, there he goes. So I'll start talking to my cat that way, like just talking with a full-on Irish accent the entire time. I'm not going to do it for all of you for this entire thing, but it's good. It's just I would categorize it as a slog. You watch it and you feel kind of fatigued after watching the 45 minutes. Something interesting may have happened in the middle or towards the end, and you're like, oh, okay, I'm good. Like, I'm never compelled to just throw on another one. My wife's all in. She likes it. She loves a time period that can like transport her. it's a slog for me. It's not bad by any means, but there's no real hook.
Right.
I'm interested in the characters, but it doesn't openly talk about its plot. That's the problem. It doesn't openly like lay out what the plot is. Like
Yeah.
you're just
Yeah.
going with them from day to day,
Yeah,
and
that's
certain things
kind
are unfolding,
right.
and you're just like, okay,
Are you gonna
okay.
move on?
Yeah, and it just keeps happening, and the new characters and the new layers. It's just slow.
Yeah.
That's not a problem, but it's
Yeah.
also not a strength.
For sure.
What about you? What have you watched?
Turn this been hard. Oh yeah, now it's something pop. So there's a photographer. This on YouTube that I follow. His name is Ted Forbes, and the YouTube channel is called The Art of Photography. I think it's the art. Yeah, The Art of Photography. Really a nice channel. Really informative. He has a cool blogging style. Like it's not like dude. Like it's like
He talks to you like you're a normal
Except
person.
like a normal person. He does reviews and explain you can learn a lot of photography if you want to learn. That's a good challenge to go. But he apparently did a series. I think it's on Amazon Prime too. If you want to go and see it, it's called the Artist series. It's like
I've seen previews for that.
documentary style of different like well-known photographers, and it's really informative. Especially like it's a mixture of a lot of things. You learn a little bit of film photography, what they do. Like at least I think these photographers are people that he admired. So it's a lot of effort. He did most of the production by himself. So I know that's really challenging. He traveled to Mexico and other parts of U.S. trying to highlight these photographers and their art and like their techniques, why they started doing photography and all that stuff, and how the career evolved to where they are now. There's a few episodes that are interesting because there's ways of printing that I wasn't aware, like these high refined techniques, and it's the dangerous talking about moving forward with technology and everything. A lot of people, there's not a lot people learning these techniques, and it's gonna get a point where all this knowledge is gonna go away, and there's not gonna be able to do it. Same thing with people that used to repair old film cameras. There's not a lot, and the people they know they're getting older to the point that they're gonna die, and there's no all ways that you have your
Believe it or not,
apprentice.
there's no YouTube video for this.
No, and it's not something that you go and read a tutorial and you learn that easy. It's more complex than that, and there's not a lot of people interested to learn.
If you don't believe it, go watch somebody make a Swiss watch. Like
yeah,
if you really don't
exactly.
believe it, like how complex some of these
Yeah.
old pieces of technology can be,
yeah,
go watch it because it's a masterpiece.
yeah, totally.
Oh.
That's the reason the price. I mean,
But I mean, even
Yeah.
like for these film cameras, like these things, they were for their time, they were unrivaled. And
Yeah.
we have found ways to circumvent some of the more complex mechanics.
right.
So having somebody who understands those innards without
Right.
being like, what is this archaic thing?
Exactly. As for example, like in the camera world or film camera world, they talking about a Swiss watch. Leica is the brand that's well known, super pricey, really expensive, but I'm assure you that it's more easily than a Leica camera. From that time, you're gonna keep working another like 30 or 40 more years than any new electronic or digital camera that you buy.
Yes.
Like most likely, like there's some. I have an old Russian camera from World War II or over that period. It works flawlessly. All the mechanics works. Like I use it, and it's like 50, 60 years old or something like that.
This is where we get into the conspiracy theory where people just like make new stuff now. Like these phones were built
Right.
with a design to die after a certain point because they want you to keep buying new ones. That's
It's a different mindset. Yeah.
Yeah, whereas those old Nokias, they were like, we need to build this thing to last forever. And it did.
Because that was your introduction card.
Yeah.
We need to be a reliable brand.
So those cameras that made it through a war are
Yeah.
still working
Yeah,
today.
it's right there, and I put a roll of film and
Good
make
to
a chip.
go.
Yeah.
Dang.
So the artist series is pretty interesting. If you like photography, even if you don't like photography, you can at least try the first episode and see if you like it.
So now that you mentioned like a YouTube thing, I did want to say one that
Right.
I recently showed somebody and like he fell in love with it. So I
Yeah.
don't know if you will all like it or not.
But
It's this little channel called Girlfriend Reviews.
Mm.
And it's one of the most unique voices on YouTube that I've heard. And the channel's only 4 months old and it's almost got 400,000 subscribers. Like
Wow.
it's just blown up. I
Yeah.
remember clicking on it because it's a girlfriend who is obviously with her partner who's super into games. He just loves playing games. And so her review isn't of the game. It's what it's like to live with somebody
Oh, that's
who plays the game.
Yeah, I could see that being so popular.
So her first one was Red Dead Redemption 2. Because like it was that first one where her boyfriend was just like, I'm
Yeah.
all about it. I need it. Like I need to do
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
And her take, she's honestly, it's one thing to like notice the little subtleties of a gamer because we're not easy people to live with or play like to hear the games, but she's so clever and well-witted with her
Yeah.
writing and the way she delivers stuff. And she can even sing in some of the episodes, but like the
Yeah.
way she is able to not only edit, 'cause they do it all themselves, like the way she can
Right,
edit
right.
and write the film and capture everything, like top-notch stuff from somebody who's really got no business being
Yeah.
like with this. But it's so funny because I mean I know what Caroline says and I'm like, oh my god, Caroline would relate to this so much.
Right.
Like for Breath of the Wild, because she does one when he played Breath of the Wild, and she's like, she did the math. She goes, you know what the best and worst thing about this game is? The best is like the visuals. The worst is this noise, and it's the sound when you open up the map. But she goes,
Yeah.
on average, I did the math. He would open and close the map 3 times every 2 minutes, just checking where he's going. And then she goes, he played, and she did, she looked it up. She's like, he had 250 hours into this game. When doing the math, I've heard this over 5,000 times. She goes, I wanted to kill him. Like,
Yeah.
those types of things, like it's really funny if you're looking for it. They don't have too many videos. They probably have like 20, but it's so wonderful to like watch her take on it and like just be that backseat person watching
Right.
somebody obsessed with it. Very good. I like binged the whole thing. So
Well, there you go. If you're the boyfriend or the girlfriend who doesn't care about video games, maybe you can relate a lot to this.
yeah,
You know?
it's really good. So I
Nice.
just wanted to give them a shout out. They're really
Sweet.
good.
All right, guys, that's it for today. Thank you for all the love, support, and keep listening to this thing. It's like 78. So crazy.
79, which means that we're already 10 weeks away from our 69 podcast. Like that's insane to me
Yeah.
that we passed it and we're just chugging along.
Yeah, yeah. And don't worry, I think by the 100, we're definitely gonna have a shirt. The reason I didn't follow through that shirt thing, well, one is nobody cared. It's fine.
Thanks, guys.
My heart is shattered in a million pieces.
Let
all
me
over the
sob.
But no, it's because I kind of wanted to redo the logo for something a little bit more minimalistic, but nothing like boring. So I'm in that process, and once we have that, when the green light, the shirts, and maybe we're gonna have a raffle for number 100 for people. But anyways, that's it for today. Thank you, Chris. Thank you again.
Yeah, of course.
Sydney will come back soon. She's
We miss you,
killing
Sydney.
it on those drag king shows.
Ego von Ego.
Well, now it's Leke Benedict. She changed her name.
What?
I don't know. Don't ask.
Sydney, what?
But you can follow her on Instagram. She always posts stuff about the wardrobe and their shows. Believe me, guys, it requires a lot of effort and creativity to do that. Like, it's not that easy. So shout outs to her and all the people that do these shows, because they're really artistic. Like the level that people.
Sorry.
Coca, sponsor us.
Sponsor me.
Yes. But anyways, guys, thank you again. Remember, go to Instagram, Garage Smith Junkies, the YouTube channel. Just let us know what you like and what you're not, and suggest topics. That's always really helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Takes a lot of pressure
Not
off
like-
of us.
Diego Luna dig that he don't even comment these podcasts at all.
We talk so much shit on him and he won't even respond. Like you don't care.
So
We know
dis-
you cry.
So disrespectful. Yeah. We wish. That would be the culmination of all this effort if we get one message from Diego Luna at some point.
The only message is stop.
Fuck you, motherfucker. A super suit.
I would never come on this show.
Yeah. There you go. All right, guys. Hashtag Halos. Adios.